Hola y buenos días. Soy yo, el señor Morris. ¿Cómo están ustedes? What sport am I doing today? Who remembers what the name of this sport is? El ciclismo. That's right. Today, we'll be looking at the numbers and having a number dictation test. We'll review the body parts in sports, and we're going to be using teams. So you might want to start thinking about getting your teams together. And then we'll talk about the sports that you like best. Pero primero, vamos a cantar nuestra canción de saludos. Canten conmigo. Hola, buenos días. ¿Cómo están ustedes? ¿Cómo se sienten? Yo me siento bien. Muy bien cantado. Ok. Pues hoy empezamos con una palabra revuelta. Las letras son, okay, now listen carefully and write these down on a piece of scratch paper or in your notebook. V, A, F, I, T, O, R, O, S. Okay. Okay. Escriban las letras para ver si reconoces la palabra. These are the letters, let's see. V, A, F, I, and that's the Spanish, I, T, O, R, O, S. And this spells vafitoros, vafitoros. Okay. Well, you go ahead and get those written down and see if you can recognize that word today. Okay? Are you all getting these letters written down? Do you recognize it? Okay, I hope so. You keep practicing that. To start off today, I'd like for you to review some of the numbers with the video. And we'll get ready to have a dictation after this. So get your paper and something to write with ready. Ahora, presten atención y repitan todos. Los números. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500,
1000.
Muy bien. Well, let's see who can recognize the numbers well enough to write them down as I say them. Okay? Go ahead and take out some paper and something to write with. Okay? Escriban este número. El número 4. 4. Go ahead and write it down. Did you write down this number? 4. Did you get that? That one was pretty easy. Let's try another number. Okay? Listen carefully. 58. 58. Okay, think of that. 58. Go ahead and write it down. Did you write down 50? You see that there? Y ocho. Okay, 58. 50 and 8. Okay, let's try one more. This one's going to be a little bit longer, so listen carefully. 693. 693. Go ahead and write that down now. Okay. Did you get it? Did you write down 693? Did you get that? You guys can continue practicing that in your classes so that you'll get good at those numbers. Another thing you can do is practice what we've been talking about in class, and you might want to form teams to go over it, like we're going to do right now. Go ahead and form teams. You can form 2 teams if you'd like, and I'm going to show you some parts of the body. We're going to go over the parts of the body, and I want to see if you guys can recognize the different parts of the body. Okay? I'm going to start off with easier questions, and then we'll get to more difficult questions as we go through this. Let's go ahead and start. Team 1, here's your question. What do we call the whole body? What do we call this whole thing? Okay, team 1. 1, 2, 3. El cuerpo. El cuerpo. Okay. Team 2. What do we call this part of the body? This part up here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. La cabeza. La cabeza. Did you get that? Give yourselves a point if you got it. Okay. Let's see. Up here, this part of the body. Okay. Team 1. ¿Es el codo o es el hombro? ¿Es el codo o es el hombro? 1, 2, 3. Son los hombros. That's right. Los hombros. You can go ahead and write that up there. Team 2. Esta parte del cuerpo. ¿Es la pierna o es el brazo? ¿Son las piernas o son los brazos? 1, 2, 3. Es el brazo. El brazo. Okay. Very good. Team 1, your turn again. What do we call this joint right here? ¿Es el codo o es el pie? Muy bien, es el codo. Es el codo. Okay. Team 2, this thing here. ¿Es la mano o son los dedos? ¿La mano o los dedos? 1, 2, 3. La mano. La mano. Okay, team 1. These appendages up here. ¿Son los dedos o son los pies? ¿Son los dedos o son los pies? 1, 2, 3. Los dedos. Son los dedos. Okay. I'm going to write that up there. How about this? Team 2. What do we call this that we use to run and stuff with? ¿Son las piernas o son las rodillas? Las piernas, las rodillas. 1, 2, 3. Oh, es la cintura. There. I'll put that up there. Okay, this part. ¿Es la pierna o las rodillas? 1, 2, 3. la pierna. Esta es la pierna. Put that up there. Okay, team 1. These here, these joints in your legs, ¿son los pies o son las rodillas? 1, 2, 3. Las rodillas. Las rodillas. Okay. Team 2, down here. Estas. Okay. Esta parte del cuerpo. ¿Son los pies o las orejas? Los pies o las orejas. 1, 2, 3. Los pies. I'm going to write that right down there. We also talked about the parts of the head. Now, there's a lot of these parts, right? Okay, let's go ahead and look at this now. What do we call the whole thing? Team 1. What do we call this whole thing? I'm going to let you guess. 1, 2, 3. La cabeza. La cabeza. Okay. What do we call this here? This here, the hair on top of your head. 1, 2, 3. El cabello. El cabello. Okay. Let's see. What do we call this part right here? All of this here. 1, 2, 3. La cara. La cara. I'm going to write that right up there. Okay. What do we call this part of the head, the forehead? Team 2. 1, 2, 3. La frente. La frente. Okay. What do we call this hairy part right up here? Yeah. You can use your notes if your teacher lets you. 1, 2, 3. La ceja. La ceja. Okay. How about this part that we used to see with? What do we call that? 1, 2, 3. El ojo. El ojo. El ojo. Very good. What do we call these little eyes that are sticking, these little hairs that stick up right over your eyes that when you blink, you'll go up and down? They help keep your eyes clean? 1, 2, 3. Las pestañas. Las pestañas. I'm going to write that right over there because that's what they're pointing to. How about these things that we used to hear with? 1, 2, 3. La oreja. La oreja, that's this thing here, and that's in our song that we do. I'm going to write that right up there. How about, let's see, what do we call this thing here that your grandma pulls on? 1, 2, 3. You could have given either answer, la mejilla o el cachete. La mejilla o el cachete. Let's see. This line is pointing to these things that are above and below your mouth, and you go with those, okay? 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, that's la nariz there. I'll put that back on. These things, getting back to these. 1, 2, 3. Los labios. Los labios. Okay. How about these white pearly things that you used to chomp with? 1, 2, 3. Los dientes. Los dientes. Okay, put those right over there. And how about that pink muscle that's in your tongue? You use that to talk with and things. 1, 2, 3. La lengua. La lengua. Okay, and finally, this whole thing here, and this was in our song. 1, 2, 3. Es la boca. I'm going to write that right over there. Okay. Well, I tell you what. Why don't we go ahead and take a couple of minutes and talk about sports, okay? Now, we've talked about a number of different sports during this unit. But whether you participate in a sport or not, you probably have a favorite sport. If I wanted to know what your favorite sport is, if I want to know what your favorite sport was, I would ask you, ¿Cuál es tu deporte favorito? Okay, and you can look at this, you can see ¿Cuál, which means which one, es tu deporte, your sport, deporte favorito, and this word right over here, favorito, that's a cognate, favorite. So, which is your sport favorite? So, what is your favorite sport? Okay. Now, if I ask you this, you would answer me by saying, mi deporte favorito es, and then you'd answer me. You'd say, mi deporte favorito es, I would say, fútbol americano. Mi deporte favorito es el fútbol americano. Okay. Now I tell you what, everybody get a partner. Everybody get a partner. Okay, now who's ever taller will ask the question first. Who's ever taller, ask the question first. Ask the question to your partner now. ¿Cuál es tu deporte favorito? Okay, very good. Now, answer. The second person, you can answer. Mi deporte favorito es... And you tell them what your favorite one is. Very good. Switch it around. Second person, you ask the question. ¿Cuál es tu deporte favorito? Okay. Now, first person, you answer. Mi deporte favorito es... And you say whatever your favorite sport is. Okay. You practice that. You can add that to the dialogue that we've been working on. Ahora vamos a ver la hoja de actividades llamada el gráfico de deportes favoritos. Okay. It looks like this. El gráfico de deportes favoritos. And you can see that this looks like the graph of favorite sports. And if that's what you thought it said, you are entirely right. What I'd like you to do is to serve, I've written my name on mine already, and it says survey students in your class or your school about their favorite sports. Tally the answers below. Well, I asked some of the people around here about their favorite sports, and every time they told me they liked one of the sports best, I'd put a mark next to it. Okay? So you can see that el tenis, there were 1, 2, 3, 3 people who liked that. El baloncesto, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. El fútbol americano, 7. So once you've tallied all of these up, I'd like you to come down here to the graph on the bottom, add up the responses, and transfer them to the graph. So you can see that this first column here is for el tenis. Looking up here, how many people did I have? 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to come down here to my graph. 1, 2, 3, find 3. And I can mark it like that. Next one, el baloncesto, there were 5, 6. So I can come over here, graph that one, color that in. Okay. And the next one that I have there is el fútbol americano. 7. 5, 6, 7. So I can graph these out and get a graphic idea. I can get a graphic idea of which sport turned out to be the most favorite of all of the people that I interviewed. Okay? So you go ahead and take some time and do that one. You're all doing a great job this unit. Next class, we'll look at some of the favorite sports in some Spanish-speaking countries. Do you think that they like the same sports that we enjoy here in the United States? I tell you what, we'll see next class. Before we leave today, who thinks they unscrambled the word for the day? The letters were vafitoros. Vafitoros. Did anyone get the word favoritos? Favoritos. Okay. Ahora tenemos que despedirnos. For our goodbye song today, let's sing La Bamba. It's one of my favorite songs. Canten conmigo. Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba, se necesita una poca de gracia, una poca de gracia para ti, para mí, ahí arriba y arriba, ahí arriba y arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Pamba, 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 pamba. Yo no soy marinero, yo no soy marinero, soy capitán, soy capitán, soy capitán. Pamba, 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 pamba. You guys are doing a great job. Keep reviewing in your classes. And until we see each other again next time, adios y hasta luego.